So we're back with the TD competitive dance team makeup for 2014. We now have Abby as our model, and we're going to do the right eye. You can see from the left eye that this is the end product. You want to look down a little bit, Abby? Cute. Our emphasis again this year is the teal, white, and black, but we're going to add a little zing with some silver sparkle. So to start off with, one of the things that I want to emphasize very strongly is the value of making sure that you have good eyebrows. The judges are looking from several hundred feet away, and they're looking for facial expression as well as dance technique. So we want to make sure that the eyebrow is framing the eyes to show all of that great expression. So most importantly, with the fairer skinned and the fairer haired girls, we want to make sure that they do have brows, because if not, it kind of looks like they have a forehead that goes from their eyelashes all the way up to their hairline. So you can use an eyebrow pencil, or you can use a brown eyeshadow with a brush, whichever you use. Just make sure that you are emphasizing their eyebrows as much as possible. Again, it's from several hundred feet away, so you don't have to obsess too much about the details. Just make sure that you're filling in the frame. Use this pencil. And then if you have an eyebrow brush, you can always just soften it a little bit. Not really necessary, but if it helps to make it look a little bit more filled in, that's great. So we're going to start with a base eyeshadow, and again the emphasis here is white, teal, black, and silver. So we're going to cover the entire upper lid with the white. Can you look down? Thank you. The key to making sure that your model is prepared is to just talk her through it. Get a lot less resistance if you're warning them about what you're doing before you do it. There's a couple of products that will actually be supplied by Terry in the Dance Experience, and it's the teal liner and the silver sparkles, so don't rush out to go buy those. The other items are certainly at your discretion. The white that I'm using right now is from MAC. It's a great product, very long lasting. The better quality product that you use, the less touch-ups that you actually have to use. The applicator I'm using is a sponge brush. I find that hair brushes are great for blending, and sponge brushes are great for making sure that there isn't a lot of deposit that ends up on the cheek, especially when you're using the amount of shadow that we use. These applicators have been from Shoppers Drug Mart. It's just beauty tools, they're called. They come in a package like this. They're only a few dollars. They're a great investment. We're going to ask Abby to look up to the ceiling, and we're just going to put a little bit underneath as well to brighten the eye. And one great tool to brighten and widen eyes up is in the inside corner. So Abby, if you can look towards me with your eye, and then come out at the other corner, and really put a lot of emphasis on the inside corner of the eye. Helps to take away some of those dark circles as well. Okay, so with the same applicator, I'm just going to use the more pointier one. Using the foundation, we have made a flat palette. Now what we want to do is just emphasize the eyes and the shape that they have. What you want to do is make sure that your eyeshadow, whatever it is you're putting on, doesn't actually drag the eye down. I've talked in earlier tutorials over the years about using a pencil or an applicator to just frame the eye between the corner of the eye and the eyebrow. There's another tip that we can use now that gives you even more confidence so that you're not actually pulling the colors down below that angle. And that is to use a little bit of either surgical tape or Scotch tape. Now, if you're using Scotch tape, the trick here is to make sure that for the comfort of the dancer, you remove a lot of the glue, because it would be actually a little bit painful for them to, when you remove it, and it'll take some of that foundation off. So if you just take the tape and put it on your own skin a couple times, it takes off a lot of the glue. So what I'm going to do here is just apply it between the outside corner of her eye and her eyebrow. And now I'm going to leave that there. And now I have that framed so that I don't actually come below the angle that would open the eye the way that I want it to. Okay, so we're feeling for the brow bone with your finger, get to know it, and then just use the tip of the applicator to follow that line. The key to success is making sure that less is more. You can always go over the shadow several times to ensure that you've got the coverage. It's easier to apply more than to take off. See, what I'm doing is once I've established what the brow bone is, I'm bringing it back down to the base of the lashes to give a rounder look to the eye. There is no need to blend too much because, again, the judges are looking at the features from several hundred feet away. So we want to make sure that there is good emphasis on the structure of the eye. Every eye is shaped differently. The best advice I can give is practice makes perfect. Some people will need a little bit thicker line here, some will be thinner. It really depends on the shape of the eye. Asking your model to look straight up at you several times throughout the application is probably the best way for you to learn what shows the brow bone the best. Okay, so now we're going to take the teal sparkle. This is the item that will be supplied by the Dance Experience. Because these models will ultimately have the false eyelashes applied right at the base, it's not necessary to get it right to the lash line. In fact, because there's sparkles in it, it's probably better if you don't get too close. But you do want to show a little bit. You can always go over this line once the lashes are on if you feel like you haven't got enough showing. But we're going to start from the corner of the eye and just give a fairly thick line. So it's not covering the entire lid. If it's easier to just pat it on and then stroke, then that's great too. And you're bringing it right to the outside of the eye. Starting from the inside and working out. This will take a couple of minutes to dry, so you can always work on other parts of the face as this is drying. Abby, keep your eye closed. And I'm just going to work on a little bit of a blush while we're working. With the older girls, it's good to have not only a little bit of emphasis on the cheekbone, but to even give a little contour. So unlike the younger ones where we're emphasizing just the apple right here, we're actually coming under the brow, or under the cheekbone I should say, a little bit, and right up to the hairline. If it looks like too much, it's probably not enough. We'll finish it off again once we take the tape away. take a minute to let that dry. Okay, so now that the teal shadow has dried, we're going to put on the false lashes. So I think now that we've established what the great angle is for the eyes, we're going to take the tape away so that it leaves room for the lashes. We're going to put that black liner on after the lashes. So you can see what a great angle that leaves you. There's no room for mistakes because the tape has actually taken on any excess that was there. The lashes, as we all know, come in a fairly large size to accommodate most eye shapes. So the next thing you want to do is be able to actually customize the lash to each eye. It has a little bit of natural glue on it that helps you to place it and make sure that it fits that person's eye. The trick here is to start from the inside corner, as close as you can get without it being irritating for the dancer, and position it, and then determine whether or not you need to cut some off. So you can see with Abby that it's slightly a little bit longer than her natural lash line. Probably, I would say, just about the first little chunk of her lash. So I'm going to take that off now, and with some scissors I'm going to cut that little chunk off the end. Always take the chunk off of the longer side, not the inside lashes. Again, the same with applying the eyeshadow, less is more. Can always cut off more, but once you've cut off too much of the lashes, then you're going to end up wasting lashes. And like we said with the last one, the eyes are twins. They're sisters, they're not twins. So you can't just cut one eye and then expect the other one to be exactly the same. So treat each eye individually. Okay, Abby, can you just look up and see how that feels? Does that feel okay? Yeah? Okay. So in fact, that's a little bit longer than the other lash, so showing that one eye is a little bit different than the other. The eyelash glue that comes with these lashes is okay, but there are other glues that you can buy that work well as well. It kind of takes, practice takes perfect, like I said with everything else. And using a little bit of glue is better than too much. We're probably going to take a little bit of break once we put these on, just to make sure that the glue dries a little bit before we continue on. Don't hold it, thank you. If you get it wrong the first time, the good thing about this glue is that it allows you to reposition it a little bit to make it more comfortable. Put it on with your fingernail, kind of push down on the sparkly bits. Before it hardens too much, ask your dancer to open their eyes. How's that feel? Okay. And then give them a break for that to dry. So now that the eyelash glue has dried and Abby's okay, we're going to ask her to look right down. We're going to finish off, well, second last stage, which is the liner. And the liner just basically gives the illusion of even thicker lashes than we already have with the false eyelashes. We already have that great firm line that was created from the tape, so now we're just going to follow along with it. Again, can't emphasize more, less is more. So you can always go over this with the eyeliner a couple times. So I'll make sure that it's doesn't have a whole lot on it. On the same message, the judges are not really gonna notice if you make it a little too thick or a little too thin. Thicker is better. The important thing is always making sure that it's sweeping up to give an open look to the eyes. So we're not completely covering the teal. Of course, if once you've done it and you have maybe put a little bit too much black on and the teal is covered, just bring out the teal again and put a little bit thicker. That should give a couple of minutes or a minute or so to dry, but I'm just going to try to speed that up by blowing on it a little bit. Keep your eye down. And then we're just going to second last step is doing the lower lashes. So if you can look up. And we're just going to continue from that line and just follow it along, kind of halfway across. You don't want to go all the way to the inside of the eye because that will actually close it up a bit. It's okay, I got on the lashes a bit. There we go. Just keep looking up. Okay. So new for this year is the Silver Sparkle. This is going to go over the entire upper lid, and rather than stroking it across, which could risk spreading out the eyeshadow, we're going to actually dab it on. So we're going to start from the outside corner and just keep dabbing it. The more you cover, the more impact you're going to get with the silver. Once this is dried, all that will be left is some mascara on the bottom lashes. We're going to let this dry a little bit first, and then we'll do those bottom lashes after. Right up to the brow bone. So we're just going to take a break for a second while that dries. Okay, so now that the sparkles have dried, we're just going to put a little bit of mascara on the lower lashes. You can find one of these guards. I use it as a mascara guard, but it's actually from false eyelashes packages. So it's a good investment. You may not use the false eyelashes, but you can always use this. It's actually used to pick up the lash and put it onto the eye. I use it as a mascara guard. Want to look up a little bit? Thank you. Put it under the eye, and then you don't have to worry about getting any mascara on their cheeks. So I'm just going to do that. Now, Abby, I'm going to make sure, can you make sure not to look down? I'm going to keep you looking up, and while you're looking up, I'm going to do your lips. Lip liner, best investment is a neutral shade. If you're doing musical theater though, of course you want black to emphasize your lip movement. No need to really create lips that aren't there. You just want to emphasize what they do have. The better the quality of the lip liner, the easier it is to apply. Get a nice little sweetheart look to the lips if you start with a big V, deep V here, and then just follow along. Lipstick will last longer if you fill it in with the lip liner. Lipstick can be applied with a lip brush or straight from the lipstick itself. Using a lip brush makes it last a little bit longer. It's up to you. We're using, this is British Red, but check on the website for the most current color that you should be using, which I think is called True Red, but don't trust me, trust the website. Okay. Two more things. She's probably been sweating the way that you have. So take one last shot with the powder to take away any gloss that might have occurred from the sweat. Always a gentle touch. Close your eyes. And then the very final stage, to make sure that there's no lipstick on their teeth, is ask them to take their index finger and grasp across. Make sure you always have something available to wipe that finger off. And you're done. And there's the TD makeup for 2014.